Thanks, Ms. Crockett.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And I'm going to go straight to Sheriff Wayburn because I don't know if you recognize it, but I actually represent a portion of Tarrant County. So I'm very familiar with some things that are going on there. So I want to talk about some of those things. Before I do that, though, I do want to address the last things that were brought up about the census. And I'm not really sure if my colleague recognizes that Texas actually got 2 new congressional seats. The state of Texas actually grew a whopping 4 million people, and because of those 4 million people that came into Texas, or from wherever they came from, we actually got 2 new congressional seats, which Texas historically has been a red state, and New York actually lost a seat, which historically has been a blue state. So I did want to make sure we put some facts on the record. But we are talking about immigrants a lot. In fact, there's a lot of anti-immigrant rhetoric and blaming of immigrants when certain things happen. And based on things coming out of this committee, we seem to believe that immigrants are the reason why crime is up and why our communities are less safe. So I did my research, and I want to go through some of it with you, specifically about Tarrant County, because I don't want you to have to know statistics about somewhere else. So with that being said, Sheriff, do you know if within the last year between 2022 and 2023, if there was an increase or decrease in murder and negligent homicide in Tarrant County?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it did not increase.
Okay. In fact, it went down by almost 17%. So great job. What about manslaughter by negligence, or we call it criminally negligent homicide?
I believe it also went down.
Yes.
It may be on ticking up at the moment on intoxicated and homicide may be ticking up at the moment in 24.
Okay, well, we had a 56.52% decrease. How about rape?
All those categories we believe went down.
Absolutely.
And I do credit a lot of incredible law enforcement and municipal police chiefs.
Awesome. So there actually was a decrease by 3.35% in rape. Robbery went down 4.5%, and both aggravated and simple assault went collectively down by 3.18%, and theft went down by 3.89%. This is at the same time in which we're talking about the migrant community and stoking these fears that they're bringing all of this trauma and this crime and violence to our communities. But when we look at a Texas community, Tarrant County, actually everything has gone down. And I do want to thank you for your service in that way, because it takes a team. It can't just be one thing. It means we've got to have great law enforcement, but we also have to have really good policies, and we honestly need to be honest about the data that we see. So overall, it shows me that Sheriff in Tarrant County, all crime was down, is what I can tell from the numbers. And do you know if Dallas County, which is next door, if they had an increase or decrease in overall crime?
I think all of North Texas, we saw decreases.
Absolutely.
Every one. And again, Chief Garcia, Chief Neil Noakes, there's some great police work going on in both of those counties.
Absolutely. So I'm going to move on to something else really quickly. One of the things that I want to talk about is the border in general and policies. I'm not sure that you're aware, but I'm going to make sure that it's clear that the Senate worked on a bill, much like the Senate has done a lot more work than the House has done this entire session. And the only reason that that bill has not come to the floor to help those that need help as relates to the border crisis is because Donald Trump specifically said that it should not come to the floor. In addition to that, I want to talk specifically about some concerns that I do have in Tarrant County. While I am so thankful that the numbers have gone down, there's been a concern about the fact that there has been a consultant that's had to come in, and this consultant has had to come into Tarrant County potentially to the tune of approximately $200,000 for an 18-month contract to help the elected sheriff identify solutions for an extensive list of jail deaths, an alarming shortage in detention officer staff, and the necessity for Tarrant County to address its overcrowded jail by entering into a $40 million contract with a privatized jail outfit to house Tarrant County's inmates in Garza County. That is concerning to me. It is concerning because as a former public defender, I actually had clients that died in the jail, and most people don't understand that the main job of a sheriff is usually to make sure that they're taking care of the jail population. And so, Sheriff, I want to make sure that while they've brought you to DC, that we make sure that we're taking care of Tarrant County, where you and I both are locally elected to serve, because we cannot have a situation in which we have violations of people's civil rights potentially due to overcrowding, or we can't have a situation where we're losing lives because we are helping out our friends who are trying to stoke more fears about the migrant community. Because the one thing that we know from the data is when it comes to migrants in the state of Texas, specifically in Tarrant County, if anything, it looks like the numbers have gone down as far as crime overall instead of going up. And so we know that while it is a team effort, this idea that this president is doing something so nefarious that he is trying to bring people in so that he can get them to vote for him or he can get them to help out a census in a particular state, that's just not what the case is. But I do thank you for your time, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield.